I'm told that it's possible that the president may take some questions this afternoon. Obviously, I imagine the first questions would be about where he is in terms of if he is going to continue to fight this battle to try to unearth new votes that could turn around the current vote count, or if he will concede. The president does seem, though, in a way, Chris, to be winning even as he is losing in the current vote count, because for his diehard fans, he is trying to make the case that he didn't really lose the election, that it was taken from him. Is that an argument that he can credibly make?
Well, not in terms of the numbers, at least so far, unless we see something from these lawsuits that we haven't seen so far, which is serious fraud and fraud of a dimension that it would actually overturn the results. He's not losing these states, for instance, Pennsylvania by 500 votes, like Florida in 2000. He's losing it by 40 or 50,000 votes. So unless we see fraud of that dimension, I don't know that he can credibly say that the election has been taken from him, but that doesn't mean he won't continue to make the argument. And as we know, Donald Trump got more votes than any person in history running for president this year, except for Joe Biden this year. So, there are tens of millions of people who love this president, who are in the Trump base. And I suspect they will be susceptible to the argument that somehow that this election was taken from them.
Even if John Roberts tries to make losing seem like winning, Chris Wallace clearly isn't buying it. And that's because while Republicans and plenty of Fox News personalities are content to traffic in lies and denialism, the only thing that matters here are the votes. And the votes make it clear that there is zero path to victory for Donald Trump. Now, Trump might pretend that the election was stolen from him, but I would issue this warning. This is what Trump does. It's what he's always done. Before even securing the Republican nomination in 2016, he claimed that the Iowa caucus was rigged and attacked Ted Cruz, tweeting, "Based on the fraud committed by Senator Ted Cruz during the Iowa caucus, either a new election should take place or Cruz results nullified." Prior to the 2016 general election, he tweeted, "The election is absolutely being rigged by the dishonest and distorted media pushing crooked Hillary, but also at many polling places. Sad." Even after he won the election, he still claimed it was rigged, tweeting, "In addition to winning the Electoral College in a landslide, I won the popular vote if you deduct the millions of people who voted illegally." And that was for an election he won. Again, this is what he does. And anyone who takes this seriously is basically acknowledging that there's no limit to the amount of times they're willing to be duped. Consider too the fact that if Trump is actually trying to convince his supporters that he didn't lose the election, that it was taken from him, he's had ample opportunity to actually make that case in court. The Trump campaign has taken roughly 20 cases to the courts, and they've lost 19 of them. The only case they did win was in Pennsylvania, blocking a limited number of voters from curing their ballots with missing proof of identification, and that'll have zero impact on the outcome of that race. So maybe I'm just a cynic, but I really don't see how you can claim that you're winning when you are quite literally losing. Of course, that won't stop Trump from trying, but it shows, above all else, how much disdain he has for his own supporters. If Trump actually cared about the people whose support he relies on, he wouldn't lead them on a wild goose chase and poison their minds into thinking that there's still hope he'll win, when he knows perfectly well that he won't. And it's not only a matter of him lying to them, he's also exploiting their manipulation for money. He's been sending out campaign emails on an hourly basis demanding donations for his election defense fund, which in actuality is paying down his campaign debt. In other words, he's broke, lied to his supporters that he can still win, but only with their money, and then used that money to not actually litigate anything, but to pay off his debt. Because again, there is no one Trump has more disdain for than his own supporters. And by the way, if you're wondering what these Trump mouthpieces actually think about sore losers, take a look at these clips from 2016.
This is the last chance for the sore losers on the left to steal the election. Brian, they're saying it's rigged, but they have absolutely no evidence that it's rigged.
I don't even think we should give him the time of day. Also, he's about to win. We know it's a matter of time, about to win Michigan officially. So that would put Donald Trump over the top with over 300 electoral votes. It was a blowout. It was a blowout. I just wonder what these Democrats are doing, trying to convince their electoral representatives not to vote the way the people want it.
There are 6 of them.
Now there's these states, let's have a recount.
It's a crisis when the people running your democracy don't believe in democracy.
We believe in free speech. We believe in accepting winners and not being sore losers.
They have no actual proof of voter fraud or any wrongdoing, and both the White House and the Wisconsin Elections Commission have both said zero evidence whatsoever. Now, what happened to the peaceful transition of power and supporting the incoming administration?
And bear in mind, Hillary actually conceded the morning after the race was called, and yet still these people were parading around slamming her for her refusal to accept reality. And now, despite the fact that Joe Biden has won more than 5 million votes and counting, and taken the Electoral College 306 to 232, still the Trump campaign is pretending that it's not a sure thing. Because now, here's what those same people have to say.
Are you prepared to say that the President Trump will definitely attend the inauguration?
Again, that's many steps away here. We're talking January, and President Trump believes he will be President Trump, have a second term, and litigation is the first step, many steps away from that.
It would look pretty bad if he did not attend the inauguration. It would look like sour grapes, wouldn't it?
I think the president will attend his own inauguration. He would have to be there, in fact.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us. If you count the votes that came in late, we're looking at them very strongly, but a lot of votes came in late. I've already decisively won many critical states, including massive victories in Florida, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. To name just a few, we won these and many other victories despite historic election interference from big media, big money, and big tech.
Funny how much things change when the only thing you actually stand for is power. So Trump might think that he's winning the broader argument, but hopefully his supporters realize that by virtue of stringing them along, pilfering them for money, and saying one thing publicly while his lawyers say something entirely different in court, that he's nothing more than a liar and a cheat. And people like John Roberts, by framing this as anything other than Trump lying and cheating, are playing right into Trump's hands. Donald Trump relies on weak people constantly giving him the benefit of the doubt, even when he has shown us, proven to us, that he's not worthy of it. So good on Chris Wallace for swatting down the suggestion that this could be in any way perceived as a win for Trump. In reality, Donald Trump lost and waged a disinformation campaign that'll do nothing but erode trust in our institutions for the foreseeable future. And reporting on this matter should make that perfectly clear, because no matter how much they don't like it, no matter how much it goes against Rupert Murdoch's agenda, no matter how much it pisses off their corporate donors, Joe Biden will be the 46th president of the United States as of this January. If you like this video, please check out my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I take a deep dive into the week's most important stories and interview major players in politics, including Kamala Harris, Katie Porter, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Eric Swalwell, Mary Trump, Al Franken, Cory Booker, and many, many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.